Welcome to Clutter to Clarity, the podcast where we transform chaos into calm. I'm your host, Heather Ann, and I'm here to guide you to a more intentional and clutter-free life. Whether you need help decluttering your physical space or seeking clarity in your mindset, each episode is packed with expert tips, personal insights, and inspiring stories. So grab your favorite beverage, get cozy, and let's dive into another episode of Clutter to Clarity. Hello, this is episode number 2 of Clutter to Clarity. Today I'll be talking to you about how to declutter when you don't have much time. Decluttering your home can be a daunting task, but it doesn't have to be. You can make progress without the overwhelm by breaking it down into short sessions. I am all about small, consistent actions when it comes to decluttering. Please do not get all of your clothes out and pile them up in the middle of your living room. That is a recipe for disaster. So here's a few tips for decluttering in short bursts that are not so overwhelming. Choose a specific area to declutter. So don't try to declutter your entire home in one go. Don't try this even if you have tons of time, because the decluttering process will expand to fill not only the time you have, but even more time. So start with a small area like a single drawer or a closet. Set a timer. If you don't have a lot of time, set a timer for 10 or 15 minutes and do only what you can accomplish in that time. Then take your break. It helps you stay focused and avoid getting sidetracked if you have that timer running and you know you're trying to optimize your time in a set time frame. You can probably get as much stuff done in 15 minutes with a timer running as you can get done in an hour without a timer running. As you're going through, go through each item and ask yourself if you need it and or love it. If you don't need it or love it, probably a good idea to just go ahead and get rid of it. Now, on a side note, what if you're unsure? Don't get stuck, okay? Set it aside in a special spot just for the things you're not sure about. Don't put it back in the space you are decluttering, but make time later to then review the items in that spot or that box or the drawer or table or wherever you put those things. You could even use Post-it note, put a date on it for when you put the item in that space. And then if you haven't used it in a few months, chances are pretty good you're not going to use it, and then you know to get rid of it. But don't let something you're not sure about hinder your progress. Reward yourself for your progress. When you finish a small area, give yourself a small reward. It would be best if it's not something that will result in more clutter. So your small reward may be a cup of coffee out on your back patio, or a phone call to a friend, or 5 minutes of playing your favorite app game. But hopefully don't reward yourself with more clutter. But reward that progress because it will help you stay motivated. Now, one of the things that I love to do with my new coaching clients is the 5-a-day challenge. This is where for the first 30 days that clients are working with me, I challenge them to declutter 5 things every single day. Some days those could be things that make a big dent. It could be pieces of furniture that need to be gotten rid of, or boxes piled up to go to the thrift store. Some days you're busy and it could be 5 paper takeout napkins. But what we're working on is, again, those small, consistent actions that are helping to shift your mindset so that you're building this habit to maintain your decluttering. So decluttering in short bursts helps you make progress without feeling overwhelmed. You can declutter and create a more organized and peaceful space without spending hours and hours of time. The clutter was not built in a day. Do not expect to declutter it in a day. So here are a few more tips I've got for you to help in those short decluttering sessions. 1, focus on only one category of items at a time. Say, I'm only going to work on books until I have the books decluttered. I'm only going to work on toiletry items. I'm only going to work on clothing accessories like scarves and hats and gloves, etc. That can help you stay focused and avoid getting sidetracked when you're just focused on that one category at a time. Set a goal for each session. So for example, you might decide I'm going to declutter one drawer or one shelf each time I declutter. And if that's your goal and you've got a busy day, then you pick a small drawer. If you've got a day with a little more free time, then you pick a bigger drawer, and so on. Make it a habit. Schedule regular decluttering sessions into your week, ideally daily, but that's not always going to work. But literally schedule it in. This will help you stay on track. If you just were like, oh yeah, I'll remember to do it, it's probably not going to happen. Now, I do want to do a quick side note about that daily practice. If you are working on a daily practice, so I strongly encourage working on a daily practice. Sometimes you're just going to miss a day. That is life. Life gets in the way. But the big thing is to try never to miss 2 days. It's that second day that really can start to be the slippery slope of breaking the progress that you have made on your habit. So it's okay to miss a day every now and then, but try to not miss 2 days. Likewise, if you decide that you're going to declutter once a week, like you're going to spend 2 hours on the weekend rather than 5 minutes a day, don't miss 2 weekends, right? If you have to miss one weekend because you're busy, it happens, but don't miss 2 weekends. Okay, another tip, declutter with a friend, family member, or coach, if that's the level of help you need. In terms of the actual physical presence of somebody, decluttering is going to be a lot more fun and motivating when you do it with someone else. On that same vein, listen to music or a podcast while you declutter, something that will help the time go faster. One of the things in the Atomic Habits book that James Clear talks about is pairing a not as fun thing to do with something that is fun to do. So maybe pick out an audiobook that you really, really want to listen to and only let yourself listen to it while you are decluttering. Okay, those are some ideas I have for you. Remember, decluttering is a process. It is not an event. It takes time and effort to declutter your home. It is an ongoing thing. Even when you get to the I am decluttered, I am done, we're still living in the world, especially if you live with other people. There's still going to be clutter that sneaks back into your life. So building up that mindset, building up the decluttering muscle, creating a consistent habit of looking at your possessions, looking at your commitments on your calendar, and being intentional about what you keep and what you say yes to. That is a process that you will need to sustain. By following these tips, you can make a big progress from regular, short decluttering sessions instead of massive weekend-long beasts. That's what I've got for you on this episode number 2, how to declutter when you don't have much time. So, quick rundown, choose a specific area to declutter, set a timer, go through item by item and ask yourself if you need it or love it. Reward yourself for your progress. Focus on one category of items at a time. Set a goal for each session. Make it a habit. Declutter with a friend or family member. And listen to some music or podcasts while you declutter. And, maybe go ahead and try that 5 items a day for 30 days sort of process that I like to start my coaching clients with. So that's what I've got for you in this episode. Look forward to sharing more with you. As I conclude this episode of Clutter to Clarity, I want to stay connected with you beyond the podcast. Follow me on social media for daily inspiration, tips, and updates. Find all of my social media links at bio.link/HeatherAnn. That's Heather Ann with an E. Let's continue this journey together, share our victories, and build a supportive community. Your presence makes a difference, and I can't wait to connect with you online. Thank you for being part of the Clutter to Clarity community, and until next time, remember, small, consistent actions add up to big changes. Declutter your life today.